I paid for everyone's $17,500 trip. 10 people, one villa. At check-in, my kids' names were missing. Storage rooms, fine for them. They're too young for luxury, my fiancée smirked. I replied, of course. Canceled the villa, froze all group cards, and removed my name from the trip chat. They were escorted out in flip-flops at 1 a.m. I watched their bags get soaked from my balcony. One voice note said, please fix this. I sent back a screenshot. Available balance, 1 cent. I handed my passport over the marble counter at 9:47 p.m. and felt that familiar shop grease phantom on my fingers, even though I'd scrubbed twice in the airport bathroom. The concierge smiled like she'd been trained on rich people's moods. Welcome to Casa Mar Azul. Reservation name? Morgan Hale, I said. Check-in for 10. One villa. 7 nights. Behind me, my kids pressed close. Ellie, 6, had her pink neck pillow on backwards like a life preserver. Noah, 4, was dragging his dinosaur backpack and whispering pool like it was a prayer. My fiancée, Tessa, stood a half step behind my shoulder, phone already in her hand. She looked bored, like we were checking into a Holiday Inn I'd insisted on reviewing. The concierge typed, clicked, typed again. Her smile twitched. I'm so sorry, I'm showing 8 guests attached to the villa. 2 names are not listed. My mouth went dry in 1 second. My brain started counting like it does when something's wrong. 10 plane tickets, 10 airport coffees, 10 thank you texts, 10 people who told me they'd pay me back next Friday. Which names? I asked, keeping my voice level. The concierge turned the screen slightly. Eleanor Hale and Noah Hale. Ellie's small hand tightened around my fingers like a seatbelt. I looked at Tessa. Why are my kids not on the guest list? Tessa didn't even blink. She did this little smirk. She saved for moments she thought she was winning. Because it's a luxury villa, babe. I stared at her. Add them. Tessa sighed, like I'd asked her to rotate tires in a gown. Relax. They're little. They don't need the main house experience. The concierge cleared her throat. There is also a note on the booking about sleeping arrangements. My stomach dipped. Read it. The concierge hesitated, eyes flicking to Tessa like she wanted permission. Then she read it anyway, quietly, like she was embarrassed for all of us. It says, children can be accommodated in the auxiliary storage room. Staff quarters are full. Storage room is fine for them. They're too young for luxury. Ellie made a tiny sound in her throat. Not a cry. More like her body turning itself down. I looked at Tessa again. You wrote that. Tessa's smirk widened. I approved it. Same thing. Behind us, her sister Paige shifted her luggage and muttered, it's not that deep. Her friend Derek snorted like this was a TikTok prank. Her mom, Lorna, stared at the chandelier like she didn't know us. Noah whispered, Mom, like he was checking if I was still me. I could feel my face get hot, then cold. My hands went icy. I tasted metal like I'd bitten my tongue. I didn't scream. I didn't do the dramatic thing they clearly expected. I smiled at the concierge. Of course, I said, calm as brake fluid. Then I pulled out my phone, opened the booking email, and tapped Contact Property. Tessa leaned in, still smug. See, you get it. I didn't look at her. My thumbs moved fast. Hi, I typed. This reservation is canceled immediately due to unauthorized changes and unsafe sleeping arrangements for minors. Please confirm in writing. I hit send. Then I opened my banking app, tapped the group wallet, and froze every single card I'd issued for this trip. 10 people. 10 digital cards, all locked. Then I opened the trip group chat and removed my name from it like I was peeling off a bandage. Tessa's smirk finally stalled. Morgan, what are you doing? I kept my voice soft because Ellie was watching my mouth like it was a weather report. I'm fixing it, I said. And right there in the lobby, under a chandelier I'd paid for, my phone buzzed with the first alert. Cancellation confirmed. Part 2. Background plus the pattern. Approximately 60006. 800 chars. I'm Morgan. I'm 32. I'm an auto technician at a Toyota dealership in Austin, Texas. I make decent money when the hours are steady, but decent has never meant 10 people in a villa on the beach. Money. I still did it, not because I'm stupid, because I'm a mom who got tired of hearing maybe next year come out of my own mouth, and because Tessa knew exactly how to sell me a dream. We met 2 years ago when she brought her Jeep in for a brake job and flirted with me while I had my hands inside her wheel well. She liked that I was capable. She liked that I didn't need anyone. She said that like it was a compliment. At first, she was good with my kids. She'd kneel down and talk to Ellie about school like Ellie was a whole person. She'd let Noah help her water plants and would pretend his little cup mattered. Then we got engaged and something shifted. The compliments turned into suggestions. The suggestions turned into decisions. The decisions turned into, we already talked about this, when we absolutely had not. Tessa comes from a family that treats money like a language. If you don't speak it, they talk over you. Her mom, Lorna, is the queen of reasonable. She never raises her voice. She just says brutal things in a tone that makes you feel crazy for reacting. Her sister Paige is 30, works in marketing for something vague, and talks like every conversation is a negotiation she's winning. And then there's the friend pack: Derek, Sam, Kira, Mateo. People who always forget their wallets, but never forget to post photos. They started calling me the responsible one, like it was cute, like it wasn't a warning label. The first time I noticed the pattern was my birthday. Tessa planned a dinner downtown and told me, "Don't worry, babe, I've got it." The check came. She slid it to me like it was a napkin. "You're faster with the card." I paid. It was $286.44. Later, when I mentioned it, she kissed my cheek and said, "Stop keeping score. We're building a life." I swallowed it because I wanted a life. The second time was Ellie's kindergarten fundraiser. I'd sold brake pad packages all week to pick up extra commission. I donated $300 to her class because Ellie was proud and because she'd drawn a picture of a playground she wanted. Tessa saw the receipt on the counter. $300 for crayons? "It's for the class," I said. She smiled like I was adorable. "Next time, talk to me first. I'm the one who understands finances." I remember staring at her. Me, who can rebuild an engine. Me, who pays rent and daycare and car insurance and keeps my kids alive. But sure, she understood finances. The third incident was the one that made my stomach start doing that cold twist whenever she said the word family. Her family decided we should all do Thanksgiving at a lake rental so we can bond, Lorna said, and take photos. Tessa told me they'd split the cost. She sent me a link to the rental with a big, bold total: $1,980. "We'll all Venmo you," Paige promised. I paid the full amount because the rental required it, and I didn't want the place to get booked out. Thanksgiving came and went. Everyone drank my wine and ate my food and posted pictures of the sunset. On Monday, my Venmo looked like a ghost town. When I asked Tessa about it, she rolled her eyes. "They'll pay. You're being intense." I texted the group. "Hey, just a reminder, the lake house was $1,980 total. Your share is $330 each." Paige replied, "OMG Morgan, it's the holidays." Derek sent a laughing emoji. Lorna said we don't nickel and dime family. Tessa took my phone out of my hand and said, "Stop. You're embarrassing me." That was the line. Not "they're taking advantage." Not "I'll handle it." Just "you're embarrassing me." I paid it. All of it. Because I didn't want to fight in front of my kids. Ellie noticed anyway. She always does. A week later, she asked me, very quietly, "Is Tessa mad at you?" I said, "No, baby," because moms lied to protect the heir. Ellie nodded, like she believed me, but her shoulders stayed tight, like she didn't. I thought it was temporary. I thought once the wedding planning started, once we were officially a unit, things would balance out. It didn't. The big pitch for this trip started in January 2026. We were in bed, and Tessa was scrolling through villas like she was shopping for a new identity. "Tulum," she said. "One villa. 10 people. It'll be iconic." "I can't afford iconic," I said. She rolled onto her side and traced my arm like she was calming a horse. You can. You just don't believe you can. Then she hit me with it. Also, it'll be good for Ellie and Noah. They deserve something beautiful. That's what got me. Not the villa, not the photos. My kids, so I ran the numbers like I run diagnostics. I listed costs, I grabbed overtime, I did 2 Saturdays in a row doing alignments and oil changes until my knees felt like ground glass. I bought 10 plane tickets, $3,842.60 total. Receipt in my email. I paid the villa deposit, $8,000 down. I prepaid a grocery package, $1,100. I booked the airport shuttle, $420. I set up a shared travel wallet so nobody could claim confusion. 10 virtual cards with spending limits. Each person got a card labeled with their name. I told them, this is not a gift, this is logistics. You'll reimburse your share by March 15. They all said yes. They all sent heart emojis. They all said, you're amazing. Only one person actually paid by March 15. Not Tessa, not her mother. Nobody. By April 10th, I'd covered $17,500. And Tessa still had the nerve to stand in that lobby and smirk about a storage room. Part 3. Escalation approximately 60006. 800 chars. The moment the cancellation confirmation hit my screen, the air in the lobby changed. Tessa's eyes narrowed. Morgan, you can't cancel. We're here. I kept my body still. I kept my voice low. My kids aren't sleeping in a storage room. Paige stepped forward like she was security. It's not literally storage. It's like a side room. The concierge, bless her, said quietly, "It is labeled storage on the property map." Derek laughed, but it sounded nervous now. Okay, but can't they just sleep on a couch? There's no couch in the storage room, the concierge said. Noah leaned into my leg. Ellie didn't move. Her eyes were fixed on Tessa like she was trying to understand how someone could say something mean with a smile. Tessa tried the private pressure first, right there in public. Her voice got soft and sweet, the way it does when she wants something and doesn't want witnesses to see her teeth. "Babe," she said, "don't do this. We've all been traveling all day. Let's just get inside and we'll talk." "We're talking now," I said. She blinked. "You're overreacting." I looked at her. "Give me a concrete answer. Where are my children sleeping tonight?" She tilted her head. "They'll be fine. They're 4 and 6. "That's not an answer," I said. "Room number, bed type, door that locks." Paige huffed. "You're acting like they're in danger." The concierge's face tightened again, like she wanted to disappear. "Ma'am, minors are not permitted to stay in the storage room. That is not compliant with our safety standards." Tessa snapped. Fast. "Nobody asked you." I turned slightly so my kids were behind me. "Actually, I did." My phone buzzed again. This time it was the banking app. Declined. Card frozen. Sam's voice rose from the seating area. Morgan? My card isn't working." I didn't look at her. "Correct." Tessa stared at me like I'd just hit her. "You froze them?" "I froze mine," I said. "Which fund's yours?" Her smirk was gone now. Her face did that stiff thing where she tries to look calm, but you can see the anger buzzing under her skin. Lorna finally spoke. She stepped in close, perfume-heavy voice gentle like she was talking to a nurse. "Morgan," she said, "you're emotional because you're tired." I nodded once. "I'm tired. I'm not confused." She smiled. "Sweetheart, we're on vacation. You can't be controlling." That almost made me laugh. Almost. "Show me the booking," I said, looking straight at Tessa. "Show me where you removed their names." Tessa's jaw tightened. "I didn't remove them. I held up my phone, then explained the note." "It was a joke," Paige cut in quickly. "It's just how we talk." Ellie's voice came out thin. Why was my name missing? Nobody answered her. That did something to me that all their adult manipulation hadn't. Because it wasn't about me anymore. It was my kid standing in a lobby asking a basic question, getting silence because adults wanted comfort more than they wanted truth. I crouched to Ellie's level. "You didn't do anything wrong," I said, "okay?" She nodded, but her lip trembled like she was holding herself together on pure will. I stood back up and faced the concierge. "I need everything in writing," I said. Cancellation confirmation, original guest list, and that note. The concierge nodded, already clicking. Yes, ma'am. Tessa's voice sharpened. Stop calling her ma'am like she's your boss. The concierge didn't look up. She is the account holder. Receipt. That was the word in my head. Account holder. Tessa tried wave one again. Guilt. Do you know how insane you look? She hissed, stepping close enough that I could smell the airport tequila on her breath. My family flew here. So did my kids, I said. You're ruining it for everyone. I kept my tone flat. I'm preventing harm. Her eyes flashed. Harm? Oh my God. Then she went to wave two. Practical harm. She turned to the concierge. Just give us keys. We'll handle it. The concierge shook her head. Without the named minors, I can't release the villa to the party. Tessa's face tightened. Then add them. I can't, the concierge said calm, because the reservation is canceled. Paige's mouth opened. Wait. Lorna's smile finally cracked. Morgan, reverse it. I pulled up the cancellation email and held it up. It's done. Derek stepped toward me, trying to loom. So what? You're going to strand us? I looked at him, really looked at him. He posted a photo on Instagram last month with a caption about hustle culture while borrowing $60 from Tessa for gas. I'm not stranding you, I said. You're adults. Figure it out. Tessa grabbed my wrist. Not hard enough to bruise, just hard enough to make a point. I didn't yank away. I didn't slap her hand. I just looked down at her fingers on my skin. Let go, I said quietly. She didn't. The concierge's eyes widened. I pulled my phone up, hit record, and angled it so the audio caught everything. Tessa released me like I'd burned her. Are you recording me? She snapped. Yes, I said, because I'm done arguing without proof. My phone continued recording. Timestamp visible. 9:58 p.m. Paige's voice went shrill. You can't do that. I can, I said. It's my phone. Then my screen lit with a message from the property. Cancellation processed. Refund per policy. Deposit non-refundable. Remaining balance will be returned within 7 to 10 business days. Non-refundable, $8,000 gone. My stomach squeezed, but I didn't show it. I'd lost money before. I could make money again. I could not unteach my kids that they were disposable. I tapped into the shared wallet and checked the balances. Each card had an amount pending for the shuttle and groceries. I froze them all again, just to be sure. Locked. Then I did the last thing. I opened the trip chat, Tulum 2026, and removed myself. One tap. Gone. Tessa's phone immediately started lighting up like a slot machine. Where did you go? Paige said, panicked, like I'd vanished off the planet. I picked up my carry-on with one hand and took Ellie's with the other. My kids and I are leaving, I said. Tessa stared at me. To where? I already booked a hotel, I said, for 3 people. That was the part I hadn't told anyone, because I'd learned always have an exit, always have a spare key, always have your own plan. Tessa's voice dropped. You booked it with what money? I met her eyes. My money. Her face went pale, then red. Morgan, you can't just abandon me. I didn't argue. I didn't explain the concept of consequences to an adult woman who thought my children belonged in a storage room. I just said, watch me. And I walked out with my kids while 10 people stood in designer travel clothes and realized the credit line they'd been riding was gone. That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. Part 4. Breaking point. Approximately 800 chars. We checked into the hotel at 10:34 p.m. It wasn't a villa. It was clean. It had a working lock. It had 2 beds and a pullout. It had a little balcony where you could hear the ocean if you tried. Ellie ate crackers in bed like she'd run a marathon. Noah passed out with his dinosaur backpack still strapped to his chest. I sat on the edge of the mattress with my laptop open and my phone beside it, building a folder like I was assembling a case. Booking confirmation. Guest list screenshot showing 8 names. The note about the storage room. The cancellation email. Then my banking screenshots. 10 cards created, 10 cards frozen, current wallet balance, and the reimbursement log that showed one payment out of 10. I typed a single email to the villa's management. Please note, minors were excluded from the guest list without my consent. A written suggestion was made to house minors in a storage room. I canceled for safety reasons. Please preserve all internal notes attached to the booking. I hit send. Then I messaged my lawyer in Austin, the one I'd used for my custody agreement with my ex. Need advice, re. Fiancée attempting to exclude children from accommodations while using my funds. I have documentation. I didn't need to sue anyone tonight. I needed a paper trail that said, I'm not playing. At 12:17 a.m., my phone buzzed with a voice note. Tessa. Her voice sounded different. Smaller, not sweet, not smug. Sharp with panic. Please fix this. Please. My mom is freaking out. They're saying we're going to get kicked out. Just call them and reverse it. Morgan, please. I stared at the screen. I felt my mouth go dry again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was clarity. I didn't respond yet. At 12:31 a.m., the concierge from the villa called me. Ms. Hale, she said. Her voice was professional, but I could hear exhaustion under it. Security has arrived. The party is refusing to leave the lobby. I exhaled slowly. I'm not responsible for them. Yes, ma'am, she said, like she'd been waiting to say that to someone all night. We are treating it as trespassing since the reservation is canceled. Thank you, I said. Please email me confirmation that they were informed. I will, she said. Also, I'm sorry for your children. That made my throat sting. Not because it was dramatic, because a stranger had more decency than my fiancé. At 12:58 a.m., I got the email. Notice of removal, reservation canceled, guests informed. 1 minute later, another message from Paige popped up from a separate chat, because of course, she'd found a way around being removed. Morgan, this is insane. You need to act like an adult. I read it twice, then set my phone down and stood up quietly. I walked onto the balcony. Across the way, the villa's lobby lights spilled onto the driveway. I could see movement, a cluster of people, security in dark uniforms, the valet area shining with wet pavement because it had started raining. I watched 10 adults in flip-flops and linen pants argue with security at 1:03 a.m. like the world owed them a refund for consequences. Tessa's voice carried faintly, even from here. This is humiliating. The security guard said something I couldn't hear, but I watched his hand gesture toward the exit. Calm, firm. Then it happened. One by one, they were escorted out. Paige clutched a tote bag like it was a lifeline. Derek dragged a suitcase that kept tipping because he was yanking it too hard. Lorna's face looked frozen, like she couldn't believe a building was allowed to say no to her. Tessa turned her head at one point, scanning the balconies like she could sense me watching. I didn't wave. I didn't hide. I just stood there, still, hands on the railing, watching the result of my boundary play out in real time. The rain picked up, sudden and heavy, the kind that turns the pavement into a mirror. Their bags started getting soaked immediately, because nobody had planned for not having access to the villa. Their nice shoes splashed, their hair frizzed, their smugness got rinsed off. At 1:11 a.m., Tessa sent another voice note. Her tone had changed again. It was angry now, trying to climb back into control. You're doing this to punish me. You're sick. You're traumatizing everyone. Ellie and Noah don't even understand. I paused the message. From inside, I heard Ellie shift in bed and murmur, "Mom?" half asleep. I went back inside, knelt beside her, and brushed her hair off her forehead. "I'm here," I whispered. She blinked, slow. "Are we okay?" "We're okay," I said. And this time it wasn't a lie. Back on my phone, I opened the shared wallet balance page. After the freeze, after the pending reversals, after the cancellation fees, it was down to basically nothing. 1 cent. I took a screenshot. Clear. Full screen. Timestamp visible. Then I hit reply to Tessa's first voice note. I didn't write a paragraph. I didn't argue about her feelings. I didn't defend my kid's right to a bed. I sent one image. Available balance. 1 cent. Then I blocked her number. I blocked Paige. I blocked Lorna. I turned off notifications for the whole mess. And with my hands finally steady, I did the irreversible step that mattered more than any villa. I opened my notes app and typed engagement, end, access to kids, none, communication only in writing. Then I emailed myself the folder of receipts like a backup plan. Part 5, a term math plus closure. Approximately 4000. 4. 800 chars. The next morning, Ellie woke up at 6:22 a.m. because her body still runs on school day anxiety. She sat up and looked around the hotel room like she was checking for danger. Then she saw the little plate of hotel pancakes I'd ordered and the cartoon on the TV, and her shoulders dropped. Noah climbed into my lap with his dinosaur and said, "Pool now?" "After breakfast," I said. He nodded like that was a fair contract. We spent the day doing the kind of vacation I actually wanted in the first place. Simple, safe, 3 people, no auditions. Ellie collected shells and lined them up on the balcony ledge like she was making a fence. Noah splashed in the shallow end and yelled, "I'm a shark," at exactly the volume you'd expect from a 4-year-old who has never been housed in a storage room. That night, my phone buzzed from an unknown number. A text. "Morgan, it's Tessa. I'm using my mom's phone. Please don't be like this. We can talk. I'm sorry you misunderstood." Misunderstood, that word made me smile, but not in a happy way. I didn't reply. 2 minutes later, another text. Everyone had to book last-minute rooms, and it was expensive. My mom is furious. Please at least unfreeze the cards so we can get reimbursed. I stared at it until the meaning fully settled in. Not, "I'm sorry about your children." Not, "I was wrong." Just money and discomfort. I forwarded the texts to my lawyer email. One more receipt. The next day, I flew home early with my kids. I ate the change fees because peace is worth more than pride. Back in Austin, I went straight from the airport to the dealership lot, still in travel clothes, to pick up my car. My coworker, Luis, raised his eyebrows. "Good trip?" he asked. I thought about the lobby, the smirk, the storage room note. I thought about rain-soaking suitcases at 1 a.m. I thought about Ellie asking, "Are we okay?" I nodded once. "Actually, yeah," I said. It was. At home, I changed the locks not because I expected Tessa to show up immediately, but because my nervous system deserved certainty. I emailed our venue coordinator and canceled the wedding deposit transfer I'd been about to send. I removed Tessa as an emergency contact from Ellie's school. I changed the password to the streaming account she always used but never paid for. Small things, quiet things, irreversible things. A week later, a package showed up at my door. No return label. Inside was a photo of Tessa and my kids from earlier in the year, plus a handwritten note. "I didn't mean it like that. I miss you. Please, let's fix this." I stared at the note for a long time. Then, I put it back in the box, sealed it, and dropped it in my closet with the receipts folder. Because apologies that don't change behavior are just a different kind of manipulation. Ellie asked me that night, "Is Tessa coming back?" I sat on the couch and pulled her close. "No," I said, gentle and firm. "She's not safe for our family." Ellie didn't cry. She just nodded slowly like she was filing the truth away. Noah asked, "Storage room?" Because his brain grabs random words and holds them. I kissed his forehead. "No storage rooms," I said. "Not for you. Not ever." The last message I got was another voice note from Tessa, through a friend's number. Her voice was quiet, almost normal. "Please fix this." I didn't respond with anger. I didn't respond with explanations. I responded with the only thing that matters now, a boundary. I'm not available for that. Love doesn't require auditions, and my kids are not negotiable. Access to me is not a family right. It's earned, it's protected, and it stays off the table when someone thinks my children deserve less than a door that locks.